Hello, Phil from the future here. This is a deck that I was very skeptical of in the deck tech time, but it actually ends up working much better than I expected. So if you see the deck tech and you're like, oh no, this is an O5 league, no, 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 no. It's gonna be fine. Trust me. I was there. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Sean has asked me to play a Cosmogoyf yet again. So if you did not see our previous attempts at doing this, it did not go well. And if you do some searches for Cosmogoyf in competitive formats, there's not a lot there. At the end of the day, Cosmogoyf is just a beater. There is no evasion here, and it has an incredibly variable amount of power. Sometimes this is a 0-1, and sometimes this is nearly lethal in one shot. And this is what Sean originally submitted. The idea was to use Cosmogoyf with Rite of Consumption to get your kill so that you don't necessarily have to attack with Cosmogoyf. And like before, we are going to try some Serum Powder stuff to grow our Cosmogoyfs. The interesting tech here that I've been asked to not remove from the deck as I tune it up is Demonic Bargain. Exile the top 13 cards of your library, then search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, and then shuffle. So the idea is to play a Cosmogoyf, then play a Demonic Bargain, make your Cosmogoyf huge, and crash in, and hopefully sacrifice it afterwards for the kill. Or alternatively, you use this to tutor up your Cosmogoyf, and then it's already big. I think this deck is full of problems, and I'm going to try to solve some of them, but I think fundamentally building around Cosmogoyf in Legacy is just too difficult of a challenge. Number one, Serum Powder is in your deck, and this is a card that does nothing, realistically speaking, once you are in the game. And you don't open every hand with Serum Powder, right? So this is not something that reliably can grow your Cosmogoyf. Number two, if we take a look here, Cosmogoyf is realistically the only creature in this deck. And that means that all removal spells that are drawn get pointed at Cosmogoyf. So you can't possibly pass the turn and then expect to Rite of Consumption the following turn. Meaning that you somehow need Cosmogoyf plus Rite of Consumption, and then Rite of Consumption needs to resolve, and Cosmogoyf also needs to be a 20 power creature, which requires both a Demonic Bargain to be cast and a Serum Powder for all 7 cards. So this is absolutely a pipe dream. And I'm going to try to salvage what I can from Sean's deck and turn it into something that hopefully can steal a couple of games. And the first thing that I need to do is put some other win condition into this deck. I need something else that can draw some attention so that Cosmogoyf doesn't eat every removal spell known to mankind. And so I figured that the deck could use a second combo, and I am going to attempt to shove in the Witherbloom Apprentice combo with Chain of Smog. And I'm going to do that because a green sun can still tutor up Witherbloom Apprentice. And a Once Upon a Time can still find your Witherbloom Apprentice. Demonic Bargain can be a tutor for either one of these combo pieces, in addition to just growing the Cosmogoyf. And I am going to keep some Rite of Consumptions in the deck. We will try to keep that pipe dream alive of doming an opponent for literal 20 with a Cosmogoyf. We'll see how that goes. I threw this idea to my Discord server, and we collectively did not come up with anything that was acceptable. You can try to do some things like delving or collecting evidence to send some things to exile to grow the Cosmogoyf, but at the point where we're doing that, we are, I think, taking just about everything that is in this deck out of this deck. Or alternatively, you could try to go a Ketramose route, as Ketramose also rewards you for having things in exile. You could try to play a completely fair game, just main deck 4 like Nihil Spellbombs or something like that. But ultimately, I don't feel too good about like building around Cosmogoyf. The power level just isn't there. So this is my best attempt at making this work. We're going to go with Fairy Macabre as our graveyard hate of choice because it is good with Once Upon a Time and it is theoretically castable as another creature that could beat down. And otherwise, we are going to answer problems in very pointed ways here. We're not going to try to answer everything. We're going to hope that our discard serves as our generic catch-all and that we can steal some wins. Folks, if you need any Magic cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. They are great. Promo code ThrabenU saves you 5% on your order. If you're going to MagicCon Atlanta, you can place your order in advance and pick it up on site, and it is super, super convenient. Skip all the lines, skip all the hassle of trying to find the cards that you need for your tournament on site. Okay, let's battle. Okay, we have a Serum Powder hand that I'm going to Serum Powder. In doing so, I will be sending 2 Cosmogoyfs to exile, which is incredibly awkward. This next hand has a Witherbloom Apprentice that doesn't do anything with it. We will powder that. This third hand has Witherbloom Apprentice and Chain of Smog. I will keep this third 7-card hand. So I'm going to make a land drop here and pass the turn. It is going to be my intention to do a Surveil land and then cast Once Upon a Time, unless my opponent plays a blue land. Alright, that's fine. Fuck you, him to Turok. Alright, well, hopefully we just find a Cosmogoyf, right? So let's go find an Underground Mortuary. Spirit Guide can go away. I guess I don't need to cast this until I see what I draw. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. Once Upon a Time. There is a Cosmogoyf. So I will fetch, pick up a Bayou. The number of searchable lands in my deck is gonna get weird. My body is so ready for a Smallpox. Take Numa. Yeah, there we fucking go. I'll discard a Verdant Catacombs, I lose my Cosmogoyf, and I will lose 1 land here. Opposition Agent is something that I need to keep in mind, I guess. Alright. Well, I'm getting a basic forest with that. I have no real choice there. And I've got a Witherbloom Apprentice, which I might just be using in a fair capacity to deal approximately 3 damage total per turn cycle. I am down another land. Alright, I can cast no spells. Opponent's at 17. There's a factory. I now can't attack in with Witherbloom Apprentice anymore. That is, in theory, not a problem. That's land drop 3. Opposition Agent is now on the table. Sinkhole, sure. I will win this game if I get mana. I am not sure to what extent my fetch lands are still on. The last thing I fetched with was a Misty Rainforest, so that was only looking at the green stuff. Maze of Ith. Hate that. Alright, opponent is the beatdown. Understood. So I think I just fetch around any possibility of opposition agent. Alright, get a swamp. Punchies for 2 in air quotes because my opponent is going to Maze of Ith. So a mana source gets me a win here. Wasteland, another sinkhole. So I play around opposition agent, get got by sinkhole instead. I love to see it. So this is going to be a lot of draw go. I do have things like spirit guides that I can eventually draw to help out this process. I've got 2 Chain of Smogs, friend. You can't take them both. Opponent takes my green sun. Alright, there's a Chrome Mox. I'm going to just play that now. I imagine that my opponent doesn't get rid of that, and I don't want it thought seized. I will take a Demonic Bargain and pass the turn. Note that the Magecraft stuff is an instant or sorcery, so my Chrome Mox does not qualify. Well, see if my opponent's got it. Chain of Smog. Target myself. 1 card remaining. I will discard these 2 cards. I will copy the spell. I will target myself. If it goes through this time, we should have the win. Alright, we put a win on the board versus Pox. I don't really believe that I am sideboarding here. Rite of Consumptions are probably not particularly strong. It's going to be hard for me to get up to enough mana to just go and do that. I think I'm going to keep them in the deck, though, because my opponent is going to have a decent amount of removal. got a Serum Powder opening hand, and this wasn't really doing anything anyway, so we will Powder. I think I will keep this second hand. It's not perfect, but it has 4 different mana sources and a piece of Disruption to make the way for Cosmogoyf. I'll probably call that good enough. Dark Ritual. Liliana of the Veil. Rip Cosmogoyf. Oh, is opponent not activating? Opponent is a second main phase hipster. I'll probably just get rid of the Thoughtseize here. I think I'm just gonna discard my Chrome Mox. Castle Locked Wayne comes down. Opponent is still a second main phase hipster. I'll discard this Chrome Mox. I am okay with a Surveil land, I think. I do not want more land here. I think I'm just gonna make a land drop and pass. Well, 7 plus 13 is 20. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a land drop and pass. And it is my intention to try and play Demonic Bargain and then play Cosmogoyf plus Rite of Consumption in the same turn. Sure. I'll discard a Bloodstained Mire. Or alternatively, I go for Witherbloom Apprentice, Chain of Smog at the same time. I guess there is some question about whether or not my opponent just ultimates Liliana immediately. So, yeah. I think I'm taking Chain of Smog. Oh, I actually don't have the choice here. They're already in exile. Alright. Chain of Smog it is. We'll see if my opponent just ultimates Liliana to destroy one of my lands. I think Liliana is just going to plus. Bowmasters is fine. I'll get pinged for 1. Yep, opponent is still a second main phase hipster. I will discard Cosmogoyf and then win the game. So, bam. Witherbloom Apprentice. Chain of Smog. Target myself. And we 2-0 this match. Notably on the back of Witherbloom Apprentice, Cosmogoyf casually was a 20 power creature that it was not correct to play. It was just correct to discard. You tried, bud. You tried. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Okay, my opening hand can play a turn 1 Cosmogoyf and have a 0/1 creature on turn 2. I think I'm still keeping the hand because Demonic Bargain does some cool stuff, but we'll see. I don't know that we're going to erase this. That helps. That gives me something very, very reasonable to do on my first turn. Thundertrap Trainer, which is not live immediately. I think I will just take the Karn. Planar Nexus can filter mana. Oh, fuck. Planar Nexus does make that live immediately. It does not set back my opponent because they are filtering all of the other extra stuff into it. I still think it's correct to take Karn, but my bad there. So that is a Thundertrap Trainer with Offspring, or 2 copies of it, unfortunately. And this is also going to give my opponent blockers for Cosmogoyf. There's a Paradox Engine and a Grim Monolith. This is better for me than Karn happening. Well, I can play a 0/1 Cosmogoyf that I grow next turn, but that creature is not connecting. I think it is just happening, though. And probably over the course of 2 to 3 turns, I could cobble together a win by using Rite of Consumption on Cosmogoyf. And the primary question will just be, am I dead yet? Urza's Saga means that there's blockers essentially forever. And Paradox Engine is a hell of a drug. The Thundertrap Trainer token can safely attack into my Cosmogoyf. Hello, Serum Powder. So, bam, bam, bam. I will Demonic Bargain. Am I just getting a land drop? Is that what I am doing here? I think that's what I'm doing. I don't think there's any timeline where this connects. Yeah. So I have a 14 power creature, but 14 is not 20. New land drop comes down, and my opponent has plenty of mana, and they can also just Tezzeret tutor if they have something cool that they want to get, which they do. Just a manifold key, which is fine. So Tezzeret's loyalty goes up. So I need to cast another Rite of Consumption. Sorry, I need to cast another Demonic Bargain and then get my opponent with Rite of Consumption on the following turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I just don't attack. I think I'm going to... Nope, not you. I'm going to go ahead and just Demonic Bargain, exile a bunch of cards. In case this dies somehow, I'm going to get another Cosmogoyf so that I have Cosmogoyf Rite of Consumption directly from hand. Oh, fuck, I had a better line. I just get a Spirit Guide and then I Rite of Consumption immediately. Whoops. Hopefully that does not cost me. Oh, there's the Urza Saga token, which does trigger Tezzeret. It is just whenever an artifact enters. So there's another token. It's just a Mox Opal. That's fine. Lotus Petal is fine. We're good as long as the last card isn't like the One Ring. Oh, opponent is just going for unblockable. That seems fine. I will take 9 damage, and then I think we're good. Alright, Tezzeret untaps that creature. Last card's Ancient Tomb. We dodged. So my misplay did not cost me there. Rite of Consumption, your face. Alright, there's proof of concept. We are, I think, 1 bomb away from just losing that game, though. My opponent had the Paradox Engine in play, so something like a Karn or a One Ring there is disastrous. I'm into Collector Oof. I am probably into 4x Duress. In all likelihood, this game is just about playing a Collector Oof on turn 1 or turn 2, and that's dealing me the game. Sideboarding out this many cards is tough. Is it just Serum Powder? Like Cosmogoyf is with Demonic Bargain, and that's just that. I'm having a hard time seeing what the cuts would be otherwise. I think Green Sun represents too much stuff here for me to cut it, and even though Chrome Mox is bad versus Karn, I think I still need it to potentially Collector Oof on turn 1, which I'm keeping this hand, and I will just decide whether or not I'm doing Oof on turn 1 or just having a turn 2 Goldfish. I think turn 2 Goldfish. Imprint, Green Sun, Bloodstained Mire, Fetch a Bayou. There's Witherbloom Apprentice. That's a Force of Will. Alright, so opponent does have 4 mana. That's the One Ring. That's pretty bad, but I do have Collector Oof. I would love for my mana not to be shut off here, but that's not the timeline that I am living in. So Chrome Mox is off, One Ring is off. I think my opponent is highly favored to win this game, though, unfortunately. I think there's just too many win conditions that are not artifacts over there. Alright. Send in. Opponent is at 16. I only have 1 castable spell, so I guess I will cast it. That is bouncing my Collector Oof in response. So my Chrome Mox is back on, but I can't immediately redeploy this, unfortunately. I don't think you're supposed to draw in response to the Duress. I mean, I'm never going to beat this card if it hits play. Yeah. Alright. So my opponent loses some life. Urza's Saga was the draw for turn. And there is Stock Up as another draw from the One Ring, presumably. And then my opponent plays out the Grim Monolith. And a Tezzeret. My opponent can now untap the One Ring. Oh, nope, they're going for Monolith instead. Or Manifold Key, which can now either untap the One Ring or Grim Monolith. I think the One Ring. Yeah. Anyway, really wish I had another mana to redeploy that Collector Oof. Kind of a deal breaker. Now my opponent gets Thundertrap Trainer for some selection beyond that. And there is Karn coming. Not great for me. So I can Thoughtseize the Karn, or I can Collector Oof all this stuff. I think both paths lead to my loss. If I play Collector Oof, Karn hits, Karn pluses, or otherwise shuts off this Chrome Mox. My opponent has still a lot of mana to do something with a Karn tutor target. Or I Thoughtseize this, and then the One Ring is still alive. I think this is my better line, but, like, both lines suck. Okay. I'm going to assume that my opponent defeats me here. With multiple untaps on the One Ring, Karn, and a bunch of mana, sink into Stupor to bounce any permanents I have. And we'll just try another game where I'm on the play instead. So this can play a turn 1 Chain of Smog, technically. So this could go turn 2 Green Sun, turn 3 Goldfish. We're probably not doing much better than that. Or alternatively, turn 2 Collector Oof. I guess I will keep this and do a Surveil land on turn 1. Demonic Bargain. I think, just going to keep that as something that can go under my Chrome Mox. I like the rest of my cards. There is an Urza Saga. So I will Chrome Mox. Maybe I get rid of one Chain of Smog instead of Bargain in case things go south. Fetch. Get a Bayou. I'm casting this either way, and then I'll decide what to do with it if it resolves, which it does not. That's why we kept the Bargain. Saga goes up. Opponent unfortunately has Ancient Tomb with it, so they can make an army of Construct tokens. Well, I kind of have one thing to do here, right? I play Demonic Bargain and hope that it wins me the game next turn. So I will pick up a Witherbloom Apprentice, and I have Witherbloom plus Chain of Smog. My opponent will go to 17 and make their Construct token, and presumably 15 here. No! Opponent picks up a Lotus Petal. We're doing a big mana play of some kind. That is Karn. Karn could potentially get a Disruptor Flute. Gets Coding, sure. So that can serve as a Rashadan port. What? That is not how that works. If I draw a mana source, my opponent dies for that mistake. That did not happen. If I play Cosmogoyf, my opponent maybe just minuses Karn and gets an Ensnaring Bridge. I would really like to just kill my opponent next turn, and that happens most frequently if I play Witherbloom Apprentice, but then walks into any sort of Dismember style card. I think I'm still doing this, so that I have Chain of Smog through Coding next turn, but it's possible I should play this out first to draw out a Kozilek's command. Karn Tutors, or Walking Ballista, sure. So that will get Witherbloom Apprentice. I'll take 3. 14. And opponent is going to go ahead and kill this now. That's fine. So in my upkeep, they should use Liquid Metal Coating on one of my lands to Rashadan port me. But they did Liquid Metal Coating on Chrome Mox previously, so I'm not entirely sure that my opponent knows all of the nuance of their deck. They figured it out this time, though. So now we are on the fair Cosmogoyf beatdown plan, which potentially will just lose out to Ensnaring Bridge, but my opponent tutored for Walking Ballista, so they can't tutor again this turn. Double Ancient Tomb means that if Cosmogoyf connects, my opponent does die. Opponent in the tank drops a land. I'm going to take out my Mox. I'm not entirely sure that that's the correct line with that. Ooh. Don't have enough mana to Ensnaring Bridge. It's very possible that plus on Coding to create a secondary blocker to play around a removal spell is a better play in a vacuum than destroying one of my lands. What? Okay, that was weird. I wonder if my opponent does not understand the Magic Online client very well. Okay, I'll lose that land. Serum Powder not doing cool things here. I will send at my opponent's face as this is a lethal attack, but again, this does not have trample or anything. So that's just happening. I could Chain of Smog my opponent here, but that stops me from going Witherbloom Apprentice, Chain of Smog later, which I think is a thing that I want to do. So I'm going to play out this other Cosmogoyf, even though I don't really think it's doing anything. So this is, I expect, the Ensnaring Bridge. So the hope here is that my opponent will have 14 cards in hand so that I can attack with Cosmogoyf. So I'm not going to be able to play a 2-drop on my turn because of Coding. So this is a pretty bad situation. Yep. Spirit Guide is not bad. Just going to hold that. I'm going to lose Mortuary here now. And that is the One Ring. Please draw cards. Please draw cards. Thank you. This does let my opponent use this mana, though. That was a Kozilek's command, exiling one of my Goyfs, and exiling cards from graveyard for some reason. So my win condition is now my opponent dying to their own One Ring, which statistically speaking is unlikely, but not impossible. Arn Tutors. Getting Lattice. That's fine. Opponent makes my swamp not produce mana, goes for a stock up. It is fine. They need to not die to their ring, which they are pretty close to doing. Monolith is fine. Putting another Cosmogoyf in play doesn't do anything. But my win condition is my opponent not doing things with the ring, so I think I now Chain of Smog my opponent. Let's take that Lattice out of their hand. Well, maybe. Lattice and Paradox Engine, and they don't repeat. Sure. Opponent down to 3. Opponent draws some cards. Arn Tutors. Unfortunately, finding a 1 ring. So there goes my primary win condition. Excuse me. Did not catch the microphone for that one. Alright. I am comfortable conceding there. I think my opponent made a bunch of missteps, but my deck isn't powerful enough to take advantage of that. GG's. Alright, we are paired against Boschenroll, who says battle! Battle! Alright, now that we've done that, I will Serum Powder my hand. I have a Witherbloom Apprentice and nothing to do with it. I will regular mulligan this. My next hand has lands and spells. I will probably just keep it and get rid of Demonic Bargain. What all did I show Brian? Too much. I've given him too much information. Goodbye, Bargain. I don't need to cast that yet. Brian and I are actually hanging out later tonight and recording a podcast episode. If you didn't know that we have a podcast together, we are both members of the Eternal Glory podcast, along with Bryant Cook. Romox. That Comet? That's Comet. Whatever this is, I love it. Oh, it's a Nahiri. Absolutely. So, Brian is just going to loot, and ultimately that -8 there often ends up putting some sort of Amracool-sized threat into play. So, I'm going to fetch. I'm going to surveil. Green Sun gets in the way of this Once Upon a Time, which I would probably like to cast. I'm not just going to redraw that. All right, so I have Witherbloom, Chain of Smog. I really and fully... Ultimate's at 8 and +2s. Maybe I have to play Cosmogoyf. Maybe I just present the win next turn, rather than trying to kill Nahiri with a 7/8 creature. There's too many blockers that can get in the way. I'm going to grab Witherbloom. And... play it. We're racing. Here he loots again. Oh, Forest in there. Are there Mana Dorks too? Minskin Boo? Are we walkers? Got a bird? Well, I mean, Chain of Smog target me. Show me a Lightning Bolt or equivalent. I will discard 2 cards. I will copy the spell. I will choose the same targets. So I will drain Brian for 1. I will discard my cards, and then I will copy the spell. So this is the point where if Brian's got it, he can now remove my creature. Brian does not have it. We are ahead versus a deck. So what sort of big awful creatures is Brian playing? I don't know. I guess the big question is like, snuff out, duress, where do we fall on those? Like, I don't know if there's going to be initiative creatures in here as bridges. I don't know if Brian is doing some Super Friend nonsense. I think I'm just going to try to Goldfish. This is a pretty medium opening hand. I think I will just mulligan this one. The secondary hand has Witherbloom Apprentice and Chain of Smog. I will keep this one, pitching a Chrome Mox. This Goldfish is on turn 2, if everything goes my way. Chrome Mox. Is that? It is a Fury. Okay, that's not unexpected. Okay, Minskin Boo is in there. So this is awkward for me because Brian can now has an onboard minus. This is gonna clock quickly. I think I am probably just going to fetch a Surveil land here. I'm gonna take some more damage. Going to 12. And Brian's just going to go ahead and shoot my face and draw some cards. Get a reload. And I'm still just going to die to this in like 2 turns. This is not great for me. Okay, it is Planeswalker nonsense. My duresses will probably make sense on the play. I will surveil. Cosmogoyf is not great right now. We're going to junk that. This is 4 damage, 5 for my Verdant Catacombs, assuming that I fetch with it, which I think I am. Minsk makes another boo. Boo gets big. I will go to 3. I am in Lightning Bolt range. Fuck! Yeah, that'll do. I believe that fully defeats me here. I am not going to put that into the graveyard and show him that I still have this combo in my deck, I think. I think I'm just going to concede there. I don't have 6 mana to play out both of my things, and I am dead to board. Let's get 4 duress in here over Serum Powder, right? Maybe this. So, Forest, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Demonic Bargain, play Cosmogoyf, turn to Demonic Bargain, profit? Let's do it. Is there a timeline where I want Elvish Spirit Guide under there instead? Actually, yeah, that lets me have 2 different basic lands. Okay, fetch. There's the basic swamp. There is the impressive 1/2 Cosmogoyf, who hopefully doesn't eat a Fury before I can play Demonic Bargain. Ancient Tomb. Red mana. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. You've got it. Did I cut my Whoozy Whatsits? I did cut my Whoozy Whatsit. Fuck! Brian! I specifically didn't want that to happen. I don't think I get to Thoughtseize. I think I just have to curve out here. So let's pick up a new giant Cosmogoyf. It is currently a 14/15. And then next turn... Ooh, I can't actually Thoughtseize and then play that as of right now, since Spirit Guide is under. I need black, black, green, and I don't have it. All of Brian's cards are good. Hate that. Beacon comes down. Nahiri time? Comet time, absolutely. So Comet does a lot of nonsense. So Brian has no cards to return for the 3 ability. There's nothing with mana value 2 or less there, so that's lucky for us. Welp? I mean, I guess I am throwing down a Cosmogoyf. It's very awkward that I can't Thoughtseize that last card away. It's also very awkward that Comet produces a bunch of squirrels, and that, like, reflection of Kiki Jiki essentially provides infinite blockers versus Cosmogoyf forever. So that was a 5. So that's just going to hit me in the face for a little bit. That is a gone, bouncing my Cosmogoyf back to hand. Buying time for Reflection of Kiki Jiki to get active. I hate it. My mana also is, like, not working here. I will redeploy my Cosmogoyf, but, you know, things are not great here. My opponent has so many blockers, this Cosmogoyf is never getting in. I'm super punished for boarding out Rite of Consumption. So, I think I am going to fetch and start looking for Witherbloom plus Chain of Smog. So, let's do this. I don't want that. I'm now going to take a look with Once Upon a Time. I find Witherbloom Apprentice. So this is another 2/2, so I could be attacked for, if I block a 2/2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus Cosmogoyf. I don't think I Thoughtseize. I think my life total matters too much. And then hopefully I just top deck Chain of Smog, and everything is hunky-dory. So there's another Goblin Shaman. Comet does the Comet thing for some damage to my face. This should now deterministically be lethal with an all-out attack. So we get a copy, and then Brian will send all of this in. And I will die. GG's. You tried, Cosmogoyf. Good match, though. Okay, opening hand does not do anything. We will powder that hand away. The second hand is perfectly reasonable. This has a decent-sized Cosmogoyf. It has extra mana. It has Witherbloom Apprentice. There's a lot to like here. I will just make a land drop and pass the turn. Got a Tundra. I will fetch. I'll surveil, and then we'll decide about casting this Once Upon a Time. I will naturally draw that. and cast this after I have drawn that card. So, bam, fetch, do a Bayou. There's the Once Upon a Time. I'll just take another land. I could take a Spirit Guide to not have Cosmogoyf be dazable this turn, but I think this Cosmogoyf is pretty likely to just eat a Source of Plowshares or Prismatic Ending anyway. You're getting a Brainstorm in response. And my Goyf does resolve. Another blue-white land. We're in Esper, though, after the fetching. And a Baleful Strix. Ate that for me. Okay, I'm just going to cast Demonic Bargain. This brings this Goyf up to a 20 power creature. And I have Rite of Consumption. I think I just take a Thoughtseize and next turn go Thoughtseize you, Rite of Consumption. It's possible getting Chain of Smog is better there, but I like this. Third land drop. And we're going to stare at each other. Mox is fine if I see that there's a Daze or something that I need to play around. That's a Force of Will. And nothing else here does anything. Opponent is at 19, can't gain life. Rite of Consumption. Sacrifice a Cosmogoyf. GG. Heyo. So it looks like opponent is kind of fair Esper control, Esper tempo, somewhere in that overall ballpark. Opponent says sweet list. Thanks, we're out here doing our best. I'm considering some number of duress. I think my MO here is make sure the coast is clear and resolve a combo and win. I don't think I want to try to remove my opponent's Tamios or whatever. I think powders are going. And duress comes in. I feel very awkward about this deck in post-sideboard configurations, because the deck is kind of built to do a thing. I think this is fine. I don't know that it's overly exciting in any capacity, but I think it's fine. Sometimes I cast a real spell this turn. Witherbloom Apprentice is fine. I'll pick that up. I think I'm going to go imprint a Spirit Guide, fetch a basic Swamp. We did see Wasteland in my opponent's deck. And drop a Witherbloom. If I untap with it, cool. If I don't untap with it, not a problem. That's fine. I can get another one next turn. Alright. The kitty cat parade is here, unfortunately. So I'll take one now. My opponent will start to build a respectable board. I will get another basic land. Going with Forest. Do this for 2. Looks like my opponent does not have counter spells, so hopefully Chain of Smog just wins me the game next turn. Okay, we played around Wasteland. Oh, I even get to, like, check and see? That's sick. That is a Daze. I mean, I'll pay. 1 card remaining in hand. It is an Orcish Bowmasters. That's fine. That's a miss. However, that doesn't matter. Bayou, Chain of Smog. Target myself. We have gotten the good luck with the rest. GG's. The Witherbloom Apprentices are doing some work. It's not like the Cosmogoyfs are doing nothing, but I'm absolutely jumping through hoops trying to make them work. Okay, we'll powder this hand. It doesn't really do anything. The second hand eventually has Witherbloom, Apprentice, and Chain of Smog, and opponent says hello. I will keep this hand. Oh, this is Sahar. Hello. Sahar has done a lot of work in the Moonstompy Discord. I think my order of operations is fetch, grab a basic Swamp, cast the Once Upon a Time for free, pick up Witherbloom Apprentice, lol, and then Thoughtseize her. Swords, Orcish Bowmasters. Or no, sorry, that's Swords, Voice of Victory, Orcish Bowmasters. I mean, I'll take Swords. I'm goldfishing in 2 turns. Fantastic. There's Arid Mesa. Ah, Sahar. No! Sahar should take my Chain of Smog here, in my opinion. Because I have 2 pieces of this side of the combo. And she does. Now, I think I have 1 Chain of Smog left, right? I have 2 in exile from Serum Powder. So my chances of completing that combo are actually pretty darn low. This is actually going to become a Cosmogoyf, I think. I think that means I just Thoughtseize here. This is scarier in terms of damage output, so I'll take it. I'll remember that, Bowmasters. Basic planes and just sorcery speed Bowmasters. 14. So I'll fetch, get a mortuary. I am not interested in Chrome Mox right now. I don't need the mana, I don't need the card disadvantage. Okay. Rite of Consumption is not nothing here. I'll pick up a forest, and I will pick up a Cosmogoyf. I have a giant body. Sahar has a minimum of 2 chump blocks on this, and enough life that she can take a hit or two from it as well. Silent Clearing comes down. We'll see if it's just an immediate redraw. It is. And a Thoughtseize. I don't know which one of these I am going to lose here. I suspect that it is Witherbloom Apprentice, but if Sahar notices that I have 2 Chain of Smogs in exile, the Witherbloom Apprentice is not actually all that threatening. Whereas Rite of Consumption will take an entire turn off of the clock. He does go for Witherbloom, though. So I'll crash in and destroy 1 Orc Army token. Yep. There's no 1-drop creature that I would play now, but there are timelines where I draw a Surveil land here. Nice. I will take another Cosmogoyf. So Sahar is kind of bottomed out in terms of resources here. Tide of Souls is cool. There really needs to be another creature following it up, though. Like an Ocelot Pride is terrifying here. Doesn't happen. Cool. No attacks. All right, well, flash creatures exist. It is possible that something else gets thrown into the mix here. Bowmasters is down. We'll drop Verdant Catacombs. I will play out a new Cosmogoyf, and hopefully next turn I attack with 2 of these, and then have lethal with Rite. Let's see if she can put together something with a Surveil land. How do we backstreet? And a no to Marsh Flats. Ooh, that's very good. That represents multiple chump blockers, and 15 life is very, very important right now in terms of numbers. So, Ocelot Pride will trigger again. I need some more cards in exile, honestly. Mortuary. Chain of Smog. That is my final Chain of Smog. If I say no to that, I can never Witherbloom Apprentice combo. Oh, that's very awkward. I think I say no to it. Well, I mean, I think this is block 1, take 7. That is my read on this situation. Sahar agrees. Down to 9. I will play a new Cosmogoyf. And I am thinking about whether or not I just want to break this up. It is sorcery speed, so if I'm going to do it, I have to make the decision to do it now. I'm not going to do it. Oh, a plateau. Why are you showing me this now? In my main phase, 8 is not lethal. I think I'm chilling. Okay, that can resolve. That can let my opponent do some stuff here. So she can give the Ocelot Pride flying. I'll eat that damage. That's a land drop. So everything is known. So she's going to go to 13. All of these Goyfs have to be blocked or she dies. Send in the crew. All of them are blocked. Goodbye. Now, I decide whether or not I'm messing around with Ocelot Pride. I think I just kill Ocelot Pride. Wait, hold up. This is not hit creatures. It is to target player or planeswalker. Whoops. I think I am good not casting that until next turn. Okay, that's fine. So Sahar can't attack, right? She does. So that's 16. I'm going to get in for 14 and then Rite of Consumption afterwards. Or no, sorry, I'm going to get in for 7. I forgot about the cat token there. Send it. And 2 of them have to be blocked again. So I am 2 damage short on Rite of Consumption. Now I have to start worrying about Lightning Bolt style cards. Sahar has no cards. I can definitely not die if I write, but it might make me harder. It might make it harder to actually get the kill afterwards. Doesn't change a fetch on the math. Plage kills me if I don't do this. That might be enough of a reason to cast a write. Okay. I'm going to play this in respect of Demonic Bargain. Okay. There is a fetch in response for a Badlands. I think I just write to face sacrificing a Cosmogoyf, put her to 1, and hope for a below average draw here. Okay, we win that one, but that was scary close. I don't have that much of an ability to grow the Cosmogoyf, unfortunately. Okay. Some number of snuff outs is probably a good thing. Breaking up Ocelot Pride Guide of Souls is a really big deal for winning with Cosmogoyf. I could also just assume that this game goes on a little bit longer and board out Chrome Mox or board out Thoughtseize or something. I don't know, Thoughtseize is just so important. Serum Powder is also a big deal for growing Cosmogoyf, though. Maybe I could get rid of Chrome Mox. And I'm at 22 mana sources, which actually is kind of rough for casting things like this in the Green Sun. I think I need these, though. This is Witherbloom Apprentice, Chain of Smog, and 2 lands. Snap, keep. Shrubland and Ocelot Pride. Seems good. I think I'm going to cast this first and use this to inform my Surveil land rather than the other way around, because I already have what I need in theory. I think this is just getting me a land drop, because Wasteland is a little spooky. Yeah, I have nothing in exile for Cosmogoyf, so I will just pick up a land, and I think I'll choose one that doesn't cost me life. Ooh, this tapped a Snuff Out. I will accept that. That might do a lot. I will take one from Ocelot Pride. Okay, no more lands. That's great. There's a very good chance there's a Swords to Plowshares here, but I have 2 Witherbloom Apprentices, so I'm just good with that. So I'll gain my 2 life here. And I am correct. Alright, at this point I will go ahead and snuff out the Ocelot Pride. I was waiting to see if there was going to be anything else played out pre-combat. There is not. I'll take 1 here. Oh shit, I can just do it this turn. I think there's a pretty good chance there's another Swords to Plowshares, though. So I am just going to play this conservatively since Sahar is missing land drops. I'm going to go ahead and just Green Sun for 2, throw down another Witherbloom Apprentice, and next turn I can do Chain of Smog combo while I have 2 Witherbloom Apprentices in play, and I'm glad that I did that. Sahar's hand had to be a keep for a reason, right? And double Swords to Plowshares after leading on an Ocelot Pride seems pretty good to me. Red mana on board. There's Ajani. Sahar now needs something like a Solitude, or she is dead, though. So, there's Witherbloom Apprentice. There's Chain of Smog, target myself. Junking a Spirit Guide to make it happen. I will discard my other 2 cards, and this is Sahar's chance. Does not seem like she's got it, so I will go ahead and repeat this loop. And each time she's going to lose 1 life. And that will do it. I don't believe it, but we put 3 wins on the board today, and I think it was versus Brian, where we potentially win another one if we have the, what's it called? The Rite of Consumption in the deck at that time. All right. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Sketchy, but it worked out way better than I would have expected. Trying to make Cosmogoyf work is a really, really difficult problem, and as we can see, based on some of these matches, you don't always have the ability to manipulate the size of the Cosmogoyf in a way that is favorable to you. And if you start cutting things that grow the Cosmogoyf, then it's not all that great to just go and tutor up. I am very, very happy that I included a secondary combo in the deck. I don't think the original version of the deck would have been consistent enough without Witherbloom Apprentice to A, give me another angle of attack, and B, take some of the pressure off of Cosmogoyf in terms of removal. Demonic Bargain definitely did some stuff. It's a little weird sometimes when too many of your cards end up in exile. Sometimes you don't actually have the ability to draw or fetch for or tutor for the things that you would like. Hence it is a Demonic Bargain. But we put up a positive finish with what I think was a very, very difficult challenge. So Sean, I hope this was still satisfying for you, even though we drifted a little bit away from your original vision. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any thoughts about other things to do with Cosmogoyf, throw them down in the comments below. See ya!